And then don't even get me started on Chicken Royale on right wing back. So all sorts, man. And when modded, it is what it is.
But Sukhi, I need to bring you in now. Spurs fan, went to the game on Sunday. You were purring about Martin Odegaard before the podcast as well. What was it like facing this Arsenal side compared to the Arsenal side of last season, which also went to the game? What was the big differences for you from an opposition point of view?
I mean, again, last year, different scenarios in terms of they were obviously kind of in the top four. They had a clear point lead, and I think the pressure was on Arteta to kind of achieve a result from that game. Obviously, we were on a decent run of form towards the second half of the season, towards the end, because obviously we have Bentancur and Kulo. They didn't have that many injuries, but then you look at Arsenal, they had Rob Holding playing. We always had Son going against him. You look at the team now, you've got Ben White playing right back. He's been tidy. You've got a proper clear defensive kind of back line that kind of worked well. And then again, I think the major difference from last year to this year was Thomas Partey being in the middle of the park. So again, he's the one that's holding the glue, and watching him live, as much as you hate to say it, I think he pretty much dictated the game for Arsenal all the way through.
It's still not better than Casemiro. I'm telling you that now. It's not better than Casemiro at all.
I knew you were going to say that, man. You were going to say that. United fans love saying that. No, he's not better than Casemiro. Casemiro's the best DM in the league.
We were talking about Casemiro versus Declan Rice back in October, and I was like, that's so insulting to him as well. Realistically speaking, he's been in a rich vein of form this season, Thomas Partey, and it's just really helped Granit Xhaka. It's helped Odegaard as well. But realistically speaking, Sukhi, who you've kind of seen from an opposition point of view has been like Arsenal's key players when you were watching them?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd have to go with Partey, and I think that was a big difference from when we played against them. We obviously, fair enough, we won 3-0, but then you look at this game, in terms of the way that we play as well, especially kind of playing on that counter attack, playing that 3-4-3. Anytime that we were pushing up, he's always there covering. So it essentially became 5-on-5. So you always had kind of positions covered. And the one thing I know I know some people don't really kind of watch football to the degree of like understand like formation and tactics. The one thing that they did quite well was working triangles between players. So when you look at it, you always see Gabriel Jesus was doing this during the first half of the season, and Nketiah was doing the same. So instead of kind of staying in the kind of box to the box, they drop deep, they get integrated with the play on the left, then build their way around, because they know majority of the times when you play against the bottom half sides of the teams, you're always going to dominate the possession. So it's always kind of good to drop someone low, work some passes in, a couple of 1-2s, and then get in behind. And I think he's got him on a kind of fine tune now, actually kind of looking at their team. And I think progressively, you look at the season, again, they've been miles ahead compared to everyone. And I think from the record, you've only lost one game right this season. So
I guess he's
going to win again now.
I mean, Suki's laughing because Spurs don't have a midfield, so it goes to show how much quality there is compared to Arsenal.
Oh no, Hamz, no, listen, we do have a midfield. We just choose to play two in the middle.
I hate that. I hated that. You mentioned that too.
That was a terrible decision.
It was so bad. I feel sorry for
Emirates.
Sarr as well. Sarr's North London derby debut as well. His first Premier League game. He's thrown into the deep end, and I feel so sorry for him because
shots. Honestly, it happened at Emirates. You saw that was happening. You played 3-5-2. You shore it up. And then second half, we already are the second half team now. Then you kind of break the sweat to kind of expand it a bit more. But again, we've got a stubborn old that's a manager at the moment that likes to stick with 3 at the back. Not even 3 at the back, it's 5 at the back. Kind of fossil football that we play. So yeah.
Do you know what? I must admit, in Tottenham, the one player I actually think is your best player at the moment, and I think he's very underrated, is Højbjerg.
He is. You know what it is though, Sean, with Højbjerg? He'll give you 8 games where he plays. He'll give you 7 out of 10 in 8 games, but you'll have 1 game where he plays a 3 out of 10, and it happens fair too often. Yeah, that's the problem with Højbjerg. He's a quality player. Don't get me wrong. I would have him there, but yeah, he always has that 1 game, and he always breaks the cycle. There's always 1 game that he does where he plays absolutely dog, and yeah, I think that happened on Sunday when he got over.
Even in the North London derby, there was a time when he had a run, and I think it was the last minute, and he crossed the ball to Harry Kane. He's one player that I was like, if there's somebody that's going to do something, it's Højbjerg. And it just kept annoying me every time he got the ball, because I was like, this could be the moment he just does a 40-yard screamer.
Yeah.
Son
was poor.
He's honestly,
he's
I mean, because of injuries, he's had to play. I mean, if you don't have any of these injuries, he'd be sitting on the bench at the moment. Like the whole season that he's played, he can't even buy a goal now. Right? Even that goal against Palace, it was a deflection, so you can't really even count that.
But so just if there was a player I would buy, it would be Son. It actually would be.
I do love Son. Yeah, I mean,
would actually buy
I don't
Son.
like many Spurs players, but Bentancur is quite nice as well, actually.
He's back now, thank God. Yeah, we've been screaming out for someone like him again. Yeah, you can see the quality difference, but the thing where I'm getting to is that we still have Pochettino players that were there from 5-6 years ago, and it's like you still have those bad apples. And it touches on your point that you both spoke about Arteta coming in, getting rid of all the deadwood, getting rid of the experienced players that were kind of challenging him in the changing room. And you look at the environment now, they all listen to him. Like, he wants that kind of authority at the moment. Obviously, we do probably have that anyway with Conte, but again, you've got Dyer that's stinking up the place. You've got Kane that's got 0.25 of a leg, he doesn't like running and likes to drop deep too much. You've got Son out of form. I've got Sessegnon on left wing back. You can't even shoot. So it's, yeah. And then don't even get me started on Chicken Royale on right wing back. So
yeah.
Just, yeah, all sorts, man. And when what it is what it is. And again, look, we put in a bid. This is how tight we are. We just put in a bid for Poro and tried to exchange a player, which they won't confirm yet, and they've just rejected the offer. So it just shows Levy's a stingy little, and we're not going to get out of it anytime soon. So
I mean, you're trying to have 4 right backs in the squad, which makes no sense because Jed Spence has not got a game properly.
Free Jed Spence as well, man. Free him up.
Yeah,
free that guy up. Honestly,
He's the one that caused us problems. That Nottingham Forest game, he's
got to play.
And the thing is, it's like, he's not tactical enough to play. It doesn't matter. He's still young yet. He's got to learn that skill set. If you don't play him in games in the Prem, how's he going to gain experience, right? But I think Conte's doing this on purpose to the board to show that this is not a player that I wanted. You need to buy me the players that I need. But again, it's only going to end in one way, isn't it? And it's going to end up with him leaving. And there's a good point actually someone raised. The guy's getting paid $1 million a season, $1 million a month actually. If you think about it, of all managers there, he's getting paid $1 million a month. He's not gonna want to leave until the end of the season. He's got
half of the Premier League to go as well. You're 19 games in, you're 5th in the table. You're only 5 points off top 4 as well. There's still chance for top 4 as well, but it's just the fact that obviously with this board that you've complained about and Spurs fans have complained about for a while, is if you don't get manager signings and you just get squad signings or t-shirt sale signings, it's not going to work for Spurs as well. And it's just really bad that there's a bad mixture of bad negativity from Conte in the press, then what you see on the pitch as well, it resonates with the players as well, and then obviously with the fans and on the board as well. It's just rotten at the moment. But personally, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic because I love it. Yeah, I warned you earlier this season, Sukhi. I said we're going to be good this season. I said
I told you we were still players short from going into the season.
That's the thing. It's like some of your players just don't turn up in these games, and it's worrying to see that you've been there for, like Ben Davies, for example, Eric Dyer, for example. They've been there since Poch days, and they just don't know what it is to be a big game player anymore. It's embarrassing.
I have to kind of fight Ben Davies' corner, to be fair. I've always said this, even before. He's not a left back, he's not a centre back, but he's a left centre back, right? He could play in that 3 at the back, right? And he's been okay, to be fair. There's only
and you had Longley the other day, didn't you, as well?
Even Longley, you're taking it. Don't get me wrong, this guy's got amazing passing, by the way, but when it comes to physicality, no way near it. Honestly, when we played against Marseille away, he was absolutely getting terrorised. So don't get me started on those kind of players, man. Yeah.
What do you think? You reckon you're going to get top 4?
It depends on who we sign. If we don't sign anyone in Jan, you might as well cut it off, cut your losses. We're done. Throw the key in the bin. Conte off. Get Levy out. And again, I'm getting off again now because we're linked with Thomas Tuchel, and I don't want 3 at the back again. I don't want to keep playing this formation. Do you know what I mean?
These Chelsea managers, man, they just love seconds at Tottenham Hotspur.
I said to my mate, he's a Chelsea fan. I go, you might as well get Potter ready for us for 2025. the way that we're going at, it's like we're just taking all the Chelsea regen managers constantly over and over again.
Would you take Poch back?
Nah, I would have definitely would not touch that.
You know what? That would have been a good signing for you guys, Potter.
Yeah.
Potter.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Potter, that would have been a good project for you guys because he doesn't expensive players.
Sure, we were supposed to have him before Nuno, but then he rejected us. Potter did. He wanted to stay at Brighton, and then we ended up with Nuno, and then Nuno, you see what happened there. And then Conte came in because Patrici was the one that kind of drove that one to say Conte coming in. But it just, you look at it, it doesn't make sense, man. You brought in a world-class manager that wins trophies, but you need to give him ready-made players. If you don't give him what he wants, you ain't gonna get nothing, right? So, and you've got a board that's so stubborn and tight that they don't want to sign players. And I think this is where they're kind of, it's a bit of a loggerhead at the moment where Levy's like, I'm not going to spend because I don't know if you're going to stay here. And then the same for Conte is like, well, you need to give me the players, otherwise I'm going to jet. So yeah, they're just stuck. It's just it's a weird position, but again, as fans, it's frustrating to see him where we are really annoyed because we know we've got a good manager, just given the players that he needs and he will stay. But yeah, just absolutely muddied. Yeah.
Good times seeing Spurs going down the table as well. We don't need them in the Champions League. They're not good enough, in my opinion, as well.